inspiring Uganda.
It's the weekly business roundup special edition, and we're glad that you have made a date with us as usual. We promise to have you glued on your TV for 30 minutes. These are the highlights tonight. What next for Uganda's oil and gas sector after the EU disapproval? UDB calls for applications for the 2022 Graduate Apprenticeship Program. Sente and Visa collaboration, a new dawn for homegrown fintechs. And from across the borders, rapid bus transit system of Dar es Salaam city eases traffic congestion. For these and more, stay tuned. It's time for business. Oil and gas sector stakeholders from within and without are questioning the intentions of the European Union Parliament on Uganda's oil and gas projects. The concerned parties argue that the basis for the European Union criticism is unclear and shouldn't discourage more investment into the sector. We have a detailed report from Dennis Sigor.
The 15-year journey of Uganda's oil and gas sector has factored in due diligence and patience to get to the current state. It is worth noting that only 0.05% of the 3,000 square kilometers of the Murchison Falls National Park will be utilized by the oil and gas activities in the development and production process. Sheikh Omar Diallo, the Total Energies and East African crude oil pipeline spokesperson, says the upstream and midstream phases have followed the time-tested and conventionally agreed principles of the environment and social impact mitigation hierarchy.
We do comply with these processes and with standards which are high standards level. And this is why we do say that this project for us is somewhere an exemplary project in terms of technical issues, in terms of safety, in terms of human rights. It is something very exemplary. And this is the reason why we do encourage people to come and to see how it is implemented.
His sentiments are re-emphasized by Uganda Wildlife Authority, a government agency that is responsible for management and protection of wildlife in and outside the protected areas. OA gives a comparison of where the project currently is vis-a-vis where it started from during the exploration and appraisal phase.
And you look at this site like you are seeing, it is more or less like blending with the rest of the area, and if it was not for the wellhead marker, which we are looking at just about 5 meters away from here, nobody would even ever tell that activity of oil exploration has ever taken place around this site. And the animals, when you look at the footprints all over, there are very many, meaning the activity impact factors like noise and vibrations never scare the animals temporarily, rather permanently from this site.
In an exclusive interview with UBC, while on a field visit to the oil fields, accompanied by French journalists and staff based at the headquarters in Paris and Kampala office, Omar underscored the importance of the project not only to the joint venture partners but to the region at large. The delegation is in Uganda at a time when ECOP and Tilenga are on the spotlight over a disapproval of the project by the European Union Parliament.
As there is no impact on the environment and the nature. And this is what we are doing, and this is what we are thinking, that our presence in this park will minimize our footprint and will minimize our impact in the activities. And at the end of the period, that is to say at the end of the process of production, our commitment is to have a park in better condition than today.
When the activities were being carried out in an area of over 428 square kilometers, the animal numbers, which we have been following through censuses, has been increasing of almost all animal species. When you look at the number of, or the population of elephants before the oil activities, and you compare it with the numbers now, when we have gone through the oil activities in this protected area, you find the number of the elephants, the number of the Uganda cobs, the number of the hippos, the number of the waterbacks, the number of the giraffe, they are all on the increasing trend. So this smaller part of 1.25, to me, I don't look at it as a threat to any biodiversity conservation and tourism.
The call by the EU Parliament for the ceasing of diplomatic and financial support to Uganda's oil and gas sector has attracted mixed reactions locally and internationally.
This pipe is not going to pass through Lake Victoria, for instance, as I've heard some outrageous statements about this. So the map is available. Whoever needs to know where the pipeline is going to pass can access this information. So it's a shock for us that a very developed society can depend on rumors to make conclusions. So we call upon the European Union and their friends to come here and get the right information and not to disrupt this project, which we know is going to be very beneficial for us and the people of Bunyoro and the people of Uganda. This is unprecedented.
Before the real implementation takes place, an environmental impact assessment is carried first. And the moment it is carried and finally agreed upon, I don't see why the project should stop. And in any case, in our country, Uganda, the constitution is very clear of the 1995 that land belongs to the people. But Planning Act of 2010 declares the whole country the planning area. So in case a government comes up with a project that they want to improve, the Planning Act, it is within the law.
The project implementers, however, are committed to mitigate any eventualities by adopting and incorporating appropriate legal and contractual frameworks which involve avoidance of sensitive ecosystems and mitigating manageable impacts, including reducing of impacts.
Uganda Development Bank is calling for applications for the 2022 Graduate Apprenticeship Program. The aim of this initiative is to skill budding professionals in the fields of data management, engineering, statistics, and quantitative economics, among others.
At least 8 beneficiaries will start mentorship activities under the 2022 cohort for the UDB Graduate Apprenticeship Program.
And as part of ensuring that we deliver on our mandate, we have to ensure as an institution that we have the right talent within our institution to deliver on that mandate.
The program seeks graduates in science fields because of the nature of skills the bank needs to fulfill its mandate. An applicant must be below the age of 30 and have a GPA of 4.0 and above.
We usually recruit staff from other institutions, but it also is important that we develop our own in-house capacity. Currently, we recruit mainly from other financial institutions, largely commercial banks, but talent that comes from those commercial banks is not necessarily appropriately tooled to undertake development finance business.
For the past 5 years, Uganda Development Bank has recruited Uganda's cream professionals from various fields so as to balance its employees of experience with new entrants. Wadulo, Arnold, UBC News in Kampala.
Uganda National Council of Science and Technology is advocating for increased local content in the country's road construction sector by acquiring heavy roadworks machinery and skilling the youth and operators. The entity is now ready to support local construction companies execute road infrastructure projects to international standards.
Over the years, local companies' participation in the road construction works in the country has been limited and wanting. The sector is massively dominated by foreign companies from China, Israel, the Arab world, and India. To change this status quo, Uganda National Council of Science and Technology has in the recent years invested heavily by acquiring state-of-the-art road construction machinery and is now ready for business.
That having this machinery for rental, leasing, would support the competitiveness of Ugandan in the private sector in the construction arena.
The entity under the Ministry of Science and Technology has partnered with AVIC International Vocational of China to skill youthful Ugandans who will be operating the machines.
I want this, to see the project is going on well, and in the future more and more trainees will come and be empowered with more technical skills.
Besides enhancing local content in the heavily funded sector by government, the move is lauded for creating jobs.
Due to a wide variety of equipment used and being introduced on the market, there is always a need for specific knowledge for its operation, and as a standard, it's good practice that every operator must be qualified as well as authorized to operate a given equipment. This training, therefore, was critically important to the operators and to NEC as an organization.
So AVIC has transferred technology and skills in form of machine operating to people selected by NEC.
30 operators and drivers for engineering machinery under the National Science, Technology, Engineering and Innovation Skills Enhancement Project have been inaugurated. The 30 that included 2 ladies went through a rigorous orientation program and met the requisite standards.
Women can do anything as long as you're interested in doing, and if you put the effort in doing it, you can make it better than even men.
It has been tailored to skill us, give us knowledge on different systems that these machines are using, and also the maintenance, the operational controls and instrument panels that these particular machines use. And so it's very important for us.
The first project the graduates are gearing in for is the construction of the dilapidated Karuma to Pakwach road that links the northern region to the West Nile region.
The Ministry of Agriculture has committed to establish regional agricultural machinery centers to enhance sector mechanization. The State Minister for Agriculture, Fred Chakulaga, was handing over 11 tractors to small-scale farmers secured by Heifer International.
At least 80% of Uganda's arable land is hand-hoe facilitated, which limits the rate of productivity in the sector.
Uganda imports close to about 30 million, US dollars worth of food annually to meet its production deficit. Despite the fact that we have good weather and good arable land, we still have some agricultural products that we're importing.
Limited access to finance and inadequate knowledge about modern agricultural practices are the main challenges affecting farm yields.
Lack of access to mechanization, among other productive resources. So it's for that reason that we thought it wise to be able to innovate this product.
In the reinforcement exercise by the government towards agricultural mechanization, Agriculture Ministry is to establish regional machinery centers manned with required extension workers.
We want to create local capacity. We are going to train operators in those respective districts. We are going to train mechanics in those respective areas. So this sub-regional mechanization center is going to be a center for maintenance, a center for training, a center for various technical support to the population.
To increase the rate of food productivity to feed local and international markets, the ministry urged the large-scale farmers to invest in food production to ensure food security.
Countries in the region, but also international. So that is it.
Heifer International has started the arrangement of giving out tractors to small-scale farmers at subsidized prices and to pay in installments.
The smallholder farmers are clustered and are serviced by the tractor owners, and this ensures that the smallholder farmer who would only dream about having their own farms, mechanized, will now have access to tractors, and they're able to increase their yields.
With the dynamic weather conditions, government, working with partners, is piloting strategic interventions like modern irrigation methods to ensure food security. Lydia Chomkama, UBC News.
In another development, stakeholders in the sugar industry have raised concerns on the sustainability of the sugarcane outgrowth scheme. For enhanced sector governance and regulation, government is advised to revisit and expedite the 2010 National Sugar Policy and the Sugar Act of 2020.
In the last 2 decades, Uganda has made significant strides in sugarcane production and processing. This progress is closely linked to the liberalization of the subsector. Between 2005 and 2014, sugar processing mills increased from 4 to 12. Currently, there are 19 mills located in eastern, western, northern and central regions of the country. However, the steady growth of the sugar industry has often been blamed for causing food insecurity and land fragmentation in the cane-growing areas.
That is not true. Instead, it has improved greatly the welfare of our farmers. People have been able to pay the basic needs of their children, even some luxury life. When the president called us at Bugembe, he saw people driving and he was surprised.
But I will tell you, as a grower, and for those who are looking at informing the policy, let's come up with bylaws not to allow people who do not have 2.5 hectares of land to grow cane. And of course, that one should be after removing land for the food.
They acknowledge their industry is facing numerous challenges that can be sorted out through government intervention and stakeholders' empowerment, especially for the local farmers.
Government, please, let it be a policy that for someone to put up a sugarcane processing factory, you must explore the entire value chain. You must have a contingent plan for processing bagasse, excess bagasse after cogeneration, for processing the molasses. These are the 3 main products from the sugarcane.
The traders are known. Those who own mills are traders. For us, we are growers. Let us remain in the Ministry of Agriculture. Let there be a budgeting to support sugarcane, but also most importantly, let them support the formation of the National Association of Cane Farmers so that we go stronger.
This was at the 10th National Forum on Agriculture and Food Security held in Kampala. Organized by the Economic Policy Research Center and development partners, the event sought to revisit policy, institutional, regulatory arrangements in the country's sugarcane sector.
So we remain confident that the lessons from this program will provide further insights into closing the policy and the practice gap for the other strategic commodities under the PIMA program.
The Makerere University-based think tank disseminated key findings on a recently conducted research and made recommendations on sector governance and regulation.
The country is growing, we are industrializing, and the new byproducts and products are coming from the industry, sugar, electricity. Now you realized how the country started developing self-sufficiency in the production of sanitizers. Those are new byproducts that are coming on the market and have really gained traction. We have electricity, then the molasses. Now, if the pricing is becoming a challenge, does the new reality or what the challenge that is, the pricing include those byproducts? Because we have industrialized, and there is a market for those byproducts that is growing in the country.
About 29,000 farming households engage in cane production in Uganda, and these farmers employ an estimated 640,000 people. The outgrowers contribute approximately 198 billion shillings per annum to national income. Dennis Igoa for UBC Business.
Government massive investment in developing ICT infrastructure is accelerating innovation and business growth. The collaboration of Sente, a homegrown fintech, and Visa Global is a step in the right direction and opens up immense business opportunities for the partners and their customers.
Our new product on the market is Sente Visa Card.
Sente, a locally developed financial technology, has partnered with Visa, a global leader in digital payments. The partnership, with the core purpose of enhancing digital payments, is a milestone to Sente, which has steadily grown since its launch in 2018.
Most of the time, you associate digital payment or a brand with big organization, government initiatives. But fintechs, we also believe that we need to empower, we need to support, and we need to help them scale as they are bringing some value-added services that are relevant for our consumers.
Over the years, government has invested massively on information, communication and technology infrastructure with the goal of connecting the country on a fast, efficient and reliable network. The mission is to create a suitable environment for businesses to thrive and ease communication. According to Godfrey Kabyanga, the State Minister for ICT and National Guidance, the move is yielding positive results.
Our role is to ensure we put in place good investment policies and the infrastructure. And you, as citizens, your role is to harness those good policies and the infrastructure to do business and grow.
Through this partnership, Sente and EcoBank are optimistic of contributing positively to government's financial inclusion agenda.
Sente will support, with this, will be supporting corporate and SME businesses with a virtual or physical card, and that card will run on what I called the bank identification number. And more importantly, what will ensure at the back end is to ensure that the transactions are processed seamlessly, and more importantly, they are secure.
These cards allow Ugandan companies to pay globally. But like I said, not just pay globally, but then they're able to track, control, and report these payments in real time.
The business community in Uganda is urged to embrace the new financial technologies in order to avoid inefficiencies associated with cash transactions.
Tanzania's rapid public buses transit system in Dar es Salaam is changing city transport. Launched in 2016, the buses, with their own roads and stations, are easing traffic jam in the city in addition to giving city residents mass transit options. Dennis Igoa with a detailed report.
Dar es Salaam, the commercial capital of the United Republic of Tanzania, is busy and densely populated. Like most capital cities in the region, Dar es Salaam has for years grappled with rural to urban migration. This trend has put a big strain on public transport and traffic congestion. Government of Tanzania introduced a safe, eco-friendly commuter transport system known as Mwendo Kasi, or Rapid Transportation System, to address traffic jam crisis.
We know where we have come, and for here where we are today, for us it's really a progress that we are humbled to speak and to share even with your team. So the systems is critical, very important. And the system which we are talking about, it has to be, again, from the point of integration. And as I've said, the second mandate of the agency is to ensure orderly flow of traffic. There you need ITS. our intelligent transport system to guide you properly. You don't just guide by using individuals. You need to have a system that will inform you at what time, which direction you have to take, how many buses.
Besides reducing pollution and expanding eco-friendly mass transit options, that has cut travel times for commuters. The blue buses, limited to dedicated lanes, are deployed on key city routes connecting the central business district with the suburbs and peri-urban areas.
We had to start with the Euro 4. We are using Euro 4 diesel, not just the diesel. Somehow environmental friendly, it's even acceptable within the European standards. So the carbon dioxide emission using our buses that we are having is lower compared to the diesel used by the Darara people. Somehow less than. But even that one is not enough. So if you happen to choose the technology that will be useful for you to save, for you not to make to incur too much cost, I cannot prescribe one source of energy. But if I have to advise, I would say you have a hybrid. Let's have an energy mix. There is a time when probably CNG will not work. You need to have maybe electricity. There is some time maybe it doesn't work. Maybe Euro 4 if it's still acceptable, or Euro 6, Euro 5, it will work with you.
City residents have embraced Mwendo Kasi because it is affordable and efficient, and it has outcompeted private commuter taxis on some city to suburb routes.
Technology now is one of the key and core drivers of all communication. It's always been very much in front, but now it's really critical because life is online, work is online, trade is online. Everything is now running in, as I mentioned earlier, in a hybrid era. So you find that we're now back to physical interaction, but online is still a big driver. So we're finding a huge play around online versus physical, and finding the middle ground for this to happen. So to be able to actually have applications that you can sell your goods with or services with online, to be able to communicate, to be able to deliver remotely, and this is what's basically driving the world economy right now.
The oil and gas activities in the Albertine Graben have transformed the road infrastructure in the area. The roads from Hoima City to Bulisa, Bulisa to Pakwach, Pakwach to Masindi, and many more areas are all new, beautiful, and well marked. Enjoy these roads in our Sounds of Business. Your health is your wealth. You know very well that COVID-19 is still with us, and now Ebola, a deadly hemorrhagic fever, is spreading fast. They both spread quickly through human-to-human contact. Therefore, don't drop your guard, stay safe, and avoid falling victim. Otherwise, thank you for being a part of this week's episode of the Weekly Business Roundup. With me, your host, Wadulo Mark Arnold. Stay tuned for the next one, same time, same place. From the team, I must say good night.
UBC, inspiring Uganda.